The match is live, Squid. We've got Wisla Krakow against Winstrike, the Polish side, coming up on this CT start. I can't be more excited for this particular matchup. We're going to get straight into the buys, of course, straight into the action. And we do have 5 sets of Kevlar coming out on the T side, if you could believe it. No nades. Winstrike are looking to swarm in this matchup. They're all headed towards B, a bit of a slow take. One in Palace lurking. That's, of course, Elian, the star opper, looking to get some early money on the board, perhaps, as he lurks out. Wisla, on the other hand, they've got a relative default setup, a little bit weak towards B, which might come back to bite them, but right now, the play appears to be underpass. Might be a split towards A. The play is developing slowly, but Winstrike, slow and steady, might just win this race.
Jedka lingering into the Palace. This challenge against Elian incredibly difficult, knowing he's the AWPer. We know, Glock in hand, he can definitely do some damage, and he's gone unnoticed. Shots popped off, Elian cannot respond. Winstrike, they are going to take it over the top anyway, leaving only Ponchek stuck in Sandwich. Right in the back lines, Winstrike, they can circumnavigate him and try and get this bomb down on B. That's exactly what's happening for Nogo. USPS firing off some shots. They're inaccurate, unable to do anything. And look at these positions. It's impossible to get back into this B bomb site. Ponchek, lovely headshot to start things off. I don't think that there's much more to do here. He'll certainly give it a good shot. There wasn't a defuse kit on the server. Remember that one. So hard to get into this. Checking these angles. There are so many to find here on the B bomb site. And Forrester, that is a cheeky angle right over the top.
Yeah, that's a dirty angle from Forrester up on that boost box. Love to see it. Very confident start with no nades, coming in dry, just aim mapping in this opening round here. And that was Winstrike's strat coming into that pistol. Going into the second, of course, Wisla will be getting a little bit of an investment here. We do have Sparrow with an armored scout. Not every day you see that on a second round buy. Usually a little bit more on the glass cannon side. See if he can do something about it. The Polish squad want to take some frags. They want to even look for a potential round win coming into this one. That's their win conditions. They need to defend a little bit more aggressively, perhaps, than they did in the previous round. And Winstrike, they've already slowed things down. They've heard some of those upgraded weapons rattle off some shots. Of course, 3 Deagles on the Polish squad. It's going to be scary no matter what equipment you've got, but especially if Winstrike only have some SMGs and the Galil and 2 AKs to their name. Now we're going to have to see where they want to go. Play is once again slowed down, but we saw in that previous round, Winstrike, they've reserved until they're not. They can pop off at any point and explode onto one bomb site, one choke point. That's the danger that Wisla needs to avoid.
Slow stance. You don't want to walk into a stack. Deadly Deagles. Of course, the scout takes a pop shot. It's inaccurate. Sparrow takes the lines behind the ticket booth instead, wanting to double dip into the connector as that smoke fades. He'll get a vantage point. 4 members Winstrike holding this angle, and he will be absolutely on his lonesome. The stack is elsewhere, and the scout is the last resistance here on the pointy letter. He should get caught out from this position in Palace as well. Incredibly easy to find this man. 30 seconds, he's in the open, and Forrest is pretty much able to single-handedly dismantle this one.
It's such a rough setup for Wisla as well. You thought maybe because Winstrike sort of delayed, they stalled out a little bit towards that connector position, that maybe they were allowing the Polish squad back in, but no frags converted. The Deagles will be saved. Some armor, including head armor for Jedker, so that will be valuable going into the 3rd round, but it will be a second on the board for the Russians, and they're happy to not lose a single player. Certainly nothing that they need to upgrade for, of course. Is always nice to see some T's with USPs saved in from the previous round. Nickelback might get a little aggro here, but he'll fall. Okay, no worries. Just throw away that MAC-10 for them, and Jedker might be able to salvage that going into the next.
Certainly should. 2-0. This is where things get scary. Wisla need to put some rounds on the board, and with 3 saved Deagles, that gives them a little bit to work with. 2-0 the Poles. Certain deficit. Smoke comes out for 2 players. Sparrow, it's a flashbang instead. Pistols only.
Pistols only. Wisla, they're not looking too hot for a 3rd round here. Winstrike, on the other hand, should be able to extend their lead quite comfortably. Lacking notably on that silenced SMG, the MP5. Recent addition by Valve. Recent, as in a couple of months, maybe even a year ago now. Time does fly in the online era, after all. Not really able to make it crack off too many kills just yet.
Well, there's one.
Forrester, on the other hand, yeah, he doesn't mind.
AK is very powerful. Should be a simple sweep away. Winstrike. A site once again. Bomb not committed. And Wisla, their real goal is just to find a kill or so. They haven't been able to do that thus far. Not even a single point of damage dealt. 2-0, likely 3. Pistol should crumble in this scenario. The only really deadly weapons, those pair of deagles on the B bomb site. They're a million miles away from the action as the bomb going towards A.
Winstrike, I do like that they're taking their time in some of these sort of anti-eco rounds, you could say, these bonus rounds even. Making sure that they sweat the CT utility, anything that they were able to scavenge in the buy time. And of course, it all has gone down, including the bomb. Wisla now staring down the barrel of that 40 seconds of doom. They're going to have to wait it out, chat it out, maybe use it as an extended timeout at this point, because there's nothing else happening. Maybe Winstrike won a hunt, but even that's not so necessary. Jedker was the only member with head armor. He was taken out immediately by Forrester's AK-47, so that will not be saved over into the next. Should be a full investment regardless.
Certainly should be. The first that we've seen, round 4, often the time that we first get out those rifles. Nickelback one more before dropping. That's with the Mac 10 as well, so a bit of bonus cash to lighten up that load.
What we love to see after this particular opening 3 rounds is both of the AWPs coming out. So far, it looks like Wisla will only be grabbing one. That's going to be on Hades, who has neglected head armor. Shouldn't come back to bite him against the AKs, but there are still 2 SMGs in play, and that's a whiffed incendiary as well, with Hades burning a bit of his teammates' HP away. Sparrow, a member with head armor, now down to 85. Oh, and the nades will do him one better. Half health.
You're not going to be too happy about that one. Not the way that you want to start an initial gun round. Already 3-0 down, and the Poles now need to contest with what looks to be a B rush. It's just a contact play. Ponchek, lovely incendiary, should slow things down. Only forces Lackey forward. Yes, he's got an MP5 in hand. We don't often see this weapon utilized, and that's why he doesn't spot his angles. It's Ponchek to spray down 2. Finding so much damage as well onto Forrester before he goes down. 4-2 here. And realistically, Winstrike still with chances. Forrester picking up another headshot. This is where he's best utilized. Swinging into this B-bomb site. Arch has been contested. And that's a lovely Molotov. Forcing Goofy into the open. And these AK-47s are going absolutely wild. Bomb can now go away if they don't just find all the frags incredibly cleanly. It's Forrester with 4 to close that one.
4 to close and only 1 health left. Forrester coming in the clutch there in that 2v3. You thought maybe the first proper gun round goes the way of Wisla after all, even after all the whiffs. And, well, it didn't quite go their way, of course. The Poles now down by 4 rounds. We go into the 5th, and it's just going to be pistols again for them, Squid. They don't have much at this point. They need to conserve that economy. Hades with that AWP not able to make anything happen, and now it's Elian, the star opper of the Winstrike squad. He's going to break out the sniper of his own, and that could spell disaster if any of these aggressive plays get punished from the Poles.
Certainly could, especially with the Deagles actually finding successes towards the middle of the map. It's Hades needs to fall back and spots another one into Palace in the meantime. I don't think that there's anybody apart from Forrester up there. 70 HP remains.
Looked like Hades shot his kill onto Lackey, eliminating yet another rifle, but it looked like that deagle shot went through his teammate's head. Goofy cloaking that bullet a little bit there. Love to see that, of course.
This is slow. Winstrike look comfortable here on Mirage. Even against pistols, it can be deadly. Just holding mid, waiting for the mistakes. They haven't been coming through just yet. Hades Marketplace. He can go into the window room as this smoke dissipates and try and find the AWP. I don't think Winstrike will give him that angle to work with, especially with another smoke as it fades, as it dissipates. Ramp control. This will be the A split. Jedka back line. CZ, weak at long range. Needs all of the bullets in the barrel to find that one. And this is incredibly squeaky clean. Yes, they've dropped 2 players, but certainly not good enough. It'll be the clean sweep onto 5.
There's a decent amount of utility invested into this round by Wisla Krakow. So even though it was just pistols, and even though they take 2 frags, that money is not going to be a great offset, right? They've already lost a lot, not just on the armor, not just on the upgraded pistols, but that utility. If they can take some more, maybe Goofy could stretch his arms out a little bit more to grab that AWP and whisk away with it. Oh, they might be able to. Ponchek cracks off another shot. They're looking for the round win. They don't want the salvaged weapons.
And with an open play as well, they need to get on this defuse right now. Forrester locked inside of the ramp. Now needs to make the swing. Quick shot up to the second. And Forrester does it again. He was the man to be the shining star on the B bomb site just a couple of rounds ago. They're putting him in these clutch scenarios, Pronogo.
And he's delivering as well. Come on, man. For your 5th round, another 1vx scenario coming up from him. Man disadvantage down. Doesn't matter. Forrester makes him pay. Jiggles out. That op not good enough. Maybe should have kept to the deagle. Didn't matter. The Poles are now down by 5 rounds. Double op setup. That's their answer. One's already out. Sparrow down in that underpass position.
That's incredibly painful. 6K down the toilet. Already dropped only 10 seconds into play. Oh, and there goes
last
the other
op
one.
Goes down too. Oh, it was bad enough that Hades' shots got baited out. Now Winstrike can play around it, but they don't want to do that. They just want to take it.
I mean, Winstrike just looked far more comfortable on this map. Let's be honest. 6-0 T side. That's the likely outcome. 3 AK-47s and any AWP says that they should be able to. 3 M4s with not much HP on Jedka says no. There's one of the AWPs. That investment already being flushed away towards the middle of the map. Oh, this looks very disjointed, Pronogo.
Absolutely the case right now. Wisla, they're going to need some heroics. Krad's Whiffed Flash might enable. But it's Jedker on the op so far away. Now he should just save this, and he won't. Elian making him pay. 2 kills for the star opper of Winstrike. And those weren't even the high impact ones. Remember, both of the snipers going down for the Polish side in that particular round? Yeah, I'd pause the match too in such a situation. That's rough, man.
It is. Absolutely so. Forrester's been such a key player as well. 2 clutches, but 11 in 1 in the early portion of Mirage. 6-0, clean sheet, and Wisla. What can they do to bring this one back? They haven't got much money to buy into number 7. Goofy only $3,400. Certainly no AWP coming into this. I expect the Deagles picked up once again. They haven't been mightily successful with them before. Back into the action.
You say they haven't been very successful yet. That needs to change. Absolutely. Wisla need to get on the board. They were able to get a couple of frags in the last eco that they played, the last sort of half investment, if you will, but this one needs to be a round win. There's only so many that you can just rattle off as economic damage. If this is another write-off, Winstrike go up 7-0 in the first 7 rounds, that would be absolutely disastrous. Goofy with an opportunity. Krad with a nade out.
Well, there he goes. Maybe a window of opportunity. I expect Winstrike to bounce off the back of this and go towards A, where they know that they're a double-man stack in the apartments. They can just focus on the double defense on this A bomb site. Hades' nice shot gives away another AK, and now the Deagles can really start to step up. Is this Whistler's way back in? Potentially so. Elian from the ramp really needs to do something here with the support of Lackey. And how has this fallen apart again? 3 kills out of nowhere, a smoke placed in Jedka's face, and there's no way to get back onto A before the bomb is planted. Elian secures it. He taps the digits in. Lovely nade. Good damage dealt. And there's a Molotov to follow up. That should force the AWP out of position. Quick kill. And in the palace, Lackey really needs to defend this one. Remember, the bomb hasn't gone down.
This is so tense right now. Lackey needs to get this bomb down, but Jedker's moving all the way around.
Perfect angle. Should have it. Quick shot. There's the defuse.
What a critical round for Wisla as well. Yeah, it's a low investment for them, but they're going to come out of this with a defuse, with a round win, and of course that salvaged AWP. Jedker knows that his team needs to start cracking off some shots off of the back of Hades, but for now, Jedker's the man to put them in the backpack. Poles up 1 round now. They're finally on the board. They need to start coming back, making the run back now, because Winstrike, they've got so much cash in reserve. Elian, he was over 13K before investing into this round, and he will break out that AWP. He's found a lot more success than the Poles have, and with Sparrow picking up that secondary sniper on the defensive side, these need to start rattling off some shots. They can't rely on the Deagles every single time, as we saw earlier in the series. Now it's going to have to be all the marbles here. The proper gun round for both teams. Full investment. Let's see what Wisla can do.
Decent nade. That's damage. Also the follow-up spray onto Elian. 43 HP remains for him. Winstrike looked to catch Wisla off guard with a fast B hit. They've gone for the contact twice. This time deciding to backtrack, middle of the map maybe being under contest. It's Hades' AWP. Not been massively successful, only 3 frags for him thus far. But still an opportunity, it's only early doors.
Minute 10 on the clock now. Wisla might be sweating. Winstrike, they've shown that they can have so much success when they slow things down just a little bit and exert that pressure. They didn't even need Forrester for the last clutch attempt, and it was so close as well.
Certainly was. Orb spotted. Smoke to bail him out of trouble. Now he's stuck inside the corner, and Elian, he knows the angle absolutely flawlessly. Hades, he was tucked inside there, thought he was in the safe space. Absolutely wrong. Usually you see, some of the time, nades roll in. Winstrike don't have any, so they have to rely on that AWP finding the shots. And only Ponchek on the B bomb site. Goofy can fire in support from short, but one smoke grenade will count him completely away. He's got this boost, and a flashbang neutralizes him instantly. There's Forrester once again. He's adding to the tally, and through the smokes, Krad sweeping away even further.
Forrester is so insane, man. For him to check that boost spot first, I don't know if that was calmed in, that they saw the tracers or something, but that flashbang was perfect, and Forrester's pre-aim was perfect. It's all gone downhill. Goofy thought maybe he was in a nice spot, but didn't quite work out there. And that could have been a great hold from Wisla, but they just fall apart. And now Winstrike, they know that they've got money in the bank. They're going to go hunting for these last few weapons in Palace.
They absolutely will. It's lucky to lead the charge. Elbow spotted. It's an easy frag to find. And now they should know that the secondary AWP is the follow-up. It's Sparrow lingering, not even finding one. That was a flawless round from the Russians.
How do they get away with that? They take B, obviously a bit of a prolonged take. Okay, they catch them off guard with some very well-placed utility and heads-up angles and game sense. But not only that, they then hunt in these defensive dug-in positions that Wisla had. And Wisla don't even get a single frag to their name in that round. That is absolutely crazy. They will go for the hero AWP investment. No nades on Hades. Just the AWP, just the Kevlar. Everybody else is Deagles. Jedker with the only utility. CT side is revolving around this sniper rifle right now. So pivotal coming into the 9th round. And if Winstrike can neutralize it like they did the last couple times, it's going to be more of the same.
This smells of desperation. Picking up a single AWP alongside the pistols. Not necessarily early into the game, the midpoint of the first half. 7-1 though. Scores on the doors definitely resembling something scary. We didn't expect it. Now they know that there's an AWP on the server and they can circumnavigate it, knowing that there's very unlikely going to be rivals elsewhere. Only the 5-7 on short. And the nades are going to start to roll in. Goofy forced back. Now needs to take the angle. Winstrike have been opening these with incredible proficiency. And it's Forrester with a key kill once again, by the way. Headshot onto the AWP. Brings him into a 2v2. Smokes away, that aids the cross, wanting to support the bomb onto this site, and the AWP in the open, knowing that Forrester can just hold this. He's 14-2 right now, barely being challenged in this map. And there go the digits. Nickelback to plant it. This is tough. Forrester angle. This is hard to bait out. And knowing that the Desert Eagles needing to take the peak, he can just find the shot and leaving all pressure onto Goofy's AK. The new star needs to shine. 1 versus 2. Should know where Forrester's playing from. Previous position radio through. But Nickelback, communication, the coordination's perfect. That would have been a double swing.
That was incredible coming out from Winstrike. Of course they win the 2v2 afterwards. Yeah, the disadvantaged weapons make you think it was an inevitability, but Wisla, they can be dangerous in those situations, particularly Goofy, who we touted before the game began as this sublime rifler. Not able to show his stuff just yet, unfortunately. Winstrike have somehow read him, even though there's absolutely no way they had film coming into this one, at least with how Wisla were going to use him. So now the double op setup back again. Miraculously, Wisla have somehow afforded more sniper rifles. Whether or not it'll afford them a round win, that's still in question. But Hades, he was good for one last time. He needs to be better on this A bomb site if that's going to be the target of the Russians.
They've played a combination of evening up the cash, knowing that they could have afforded an AWP into the last for Hades, which ordinarily looks like a mistake, but the loss bonus means somebody else can drop that over. Goof can just stick with the M4A4, of course, and they can go with this double AWP once again. Lack of utility. Literally not a single smoke grenade on Hades, only 2 on the server. That's for Wisla. Winstrike have plenty. Can send this towards the A-bomb site. Minute left. Lackey already. Ladder room control. Molotovs as well. This just looks incredibly coordinated. They're pinstring these bomb sites. A will be the target.
So much pressure.
Absolutely. It's just Crad opening up. You see Forrester doing damage every single time. This time not even needed. There seems to be a null and void defense on the A-bomb site. And Wisla's mines might already be going forward to train. Sparrow angle. It's one of the AWPs. Almost gets caught off guard. Finds the shot anyway. Now has the cross. A single smoke can actually bait him out. And Winstrike have 2 to be played. 1 dropped. That gives them an avenue of approach. Hades wants to take the swing, and, well, a shot through the box connect. It's only for damage, no frags. Now they're all maneuvering in from the CT spawn, and Elian can just watch and wait this angle down. Whoa. Lovely flick. There's a second to find. And Sparrow, Hades, how do you retake with just AWPs? The sniper rifle potential, easy in the early rounds, but pretty much powerless here.
Yeah, how do you retake? More like, how do you save? Because you absolutely need to hold on to these going into the 11th. I can't believe that not only did Winstrike win the half, but they continue to extend their lead. Wisla's win condition was getting those snipers in on the action, and that just didn't come to fruition until after the bomb was already planted. That's a no-go coming into that one. They almost lose more, but Nickelback maybe getting a little ahead of himself there. He will go down, but so what? Look at the money on Winstrike. They've got plenty to go around. They'll rebuy again and again, basically until this half is over at this rate. And Wisla, I mean, as we get into these late round scenarios, yeah, sure, they're going to have some more of that loss bonus. It's probably already maxed out, almost certainly, by this point. And they've got money for days themselves, but they're never going to be able to take away the rifles from Winstrike at this point. And we could be on for a very dominating first half. It's already not close at all.
Even if this ends 9-6, you've got to favor Winstrike. Well, we know that momentum, definitely a factor in Counter-Strike, but 6 CT, likely not good enough. The double AWP setups have actually merited nothing. Aggressive stances into pallet and connector, but nothing found. Should be a telltale sign that this is heading towards B, and you see absolutely no rotate from Wisla. They've only got the 2 here.
This has been an incredible pain point for Wisla. Their rotates taking too long to help drive Winstrike back, and right now, it looks like it'll be the same.
Yeah, they're getting absolutely picked apart. Elian, Crad, quick killed, B-site falls again, and this will be double digits Winstrike.
Yeah, 10 secured on the board. Just wait 40 seconds and you'll get it. Forrester, he swung out looking for some extra prey. Unlikely, but Jedker ends up trading him out there. So now, in the 4-on-3, Wisla already scarpered off to A. They're interested only in saving once again. Both snipers still in play so far. Winstrike looking to hunt, of course. Why wouldn't they with the money that they've got? Ooh, last time that angle was taken, it was not favorable for the CTs. This time, maybe a little bit better here. And Crad, he's got it all to do.
Certainly has. There was a team kill in the mix. It doesn't matter for Winstrike since they've got so much money. Elian almost max cash. Forrester joining him 10-1. That's the most important fact. To Winstrike just 6 rounds away from victory. This is their map pick, but Train, very confident map for them also. CT side, they often merit so many rounds. How many times have we seen Winstrike 13-2 up on the CT side of Train? And that is to come. This could be a very quick series, Pronogo. I thought this would be competitive and Wisla would be prepared, but this debut for Goofy is not going well.
Not at all, Squid. Not at all. He's only equipped with the MP9 coming into the 12th round, and Winstrike look on task. If you just look at the money, you just look at the equipment even, forget about the guns. Look at the nades. They're so low for the CT side, and Winstrike, they've been playing these slow mid-rounds into a very fast-paced explosion for a lot of their takes. It feels like Wisla never forced Winstrike to change up their play, just because Wisla themselves couldn't defeat the play that Winstrike were already making. And that's the narrative we're seeing coming into this first half here. Winstrike calling the shots and never really having to change anything up because they're just hitting the shots better.
They certainly are. And with double orbs, you'd certainly expect Hades, Sparrow, them to show up, but they're getting completely caught off guard. You see the MP9 just falling instantaneously. There's another one eliminated. Goofy really unsuccessful on that approach.
I like the idea when you're a man down, you need some aggressive plays to get you back into the round, perhaps. And he may have had that, at least one frag, if Elian hadn't been miraculously placed there to pick that frag up. Sparrow with the op. Two of them still in play, of course, for the CTs. Once again, he's taken the in-game leader for Winstrike out of the picture. And the bomb is down, but the smoke's deployed because once again, Winstrike with this slow style, conserving their utility, and there's almost nothing for the CTs to answer back with.
No, time looked like a pressure, but Hades has to do everything here. Right over the top of Ticket Booth, instantaneously taken. Ponchek quick shots, might even know where Lackey was playing from. He's yet to find a frag, so gone completely dormant. And checking the CT spawn instead, this AK-47, it's right under your nose. And with an AWP, I don't think he's going to be able to find this one. Barrel spotted, Lackey doesn't even need to peek, it's the warbang to finish.
I love Lackey's confidence there. He sees the little edge of the sniper rifle, makes the calculation. Your head must be about this many pixels away from the edge there, and frags. There you go. Wisla now down 10 rounds to Winstrike. A very dominant first half coming out, no doubt about that. Double op once again reinvested in by the CT side. This defensive squad on the Polish side of things has not found much success. Really, no matter what positions they're playing. Now, two towards mid. They might be able to crack off the first couple of kills here. And that's Goofy securing the first opening frag for Wisla in what feels like the entire game so far.
Certainly so. It's the first time that they've gone for that aggressive mid push with rifles in hand. We've seen SMGs. Wasn't successful in the last. Finally, Goofy finds something. 5 and 11 here in his Wisla All-in-Games debut.
It's a little bit late to talk about this now, but I am a little surprised that there has not been more than just a single timeout so far. When you see a runaway scoreline like this, you want to break up that momentum that you talked about earlier, Squid, and well, Wisla, I guess they think that they know a little bit better than that. Maybe their heads are in train more so than in this.
And that's worrying. We know how Winstrike play on that sort of a territory against, well, some of the best in the CIS. 11-1, and already the damage being dealt. How many advantageous situations have Wisla thrown away? It must be 4, 5. Forrester being the recipient of a lot of those early frags. Not this time. One of the initial members to drop. 30-second smoke placed. And Winstrike's still stuck towards the middle of the map. I don't know what the game plan is here. I think window control and burst onto A. They don't have a lot of follow-up options, especially with those smokes down. Doesn't need to trade to the AK. Can sit in the smoke instead. Jedka on stairs. Hasn't been spotted, and there's only 12 seconds on the clock. Jedka can stay alive here and just find that one, and it's all over. Elian, no chance.
No chance for the round, but that's all right. You saved the AWP, not like you needed it. Look at his 10K in the bank already. I should say still. I mean, that's essentially where he's been at for the last 5 rounds or so. And while it's a Pyrrhic victory, I would say, for Wisla, they are able to take the round. They lost a number of members, which is obviously a bit more punishing for them considering their bank or lack thereof now. And all right, they've got another gun round in, but they could just get reset going into the next. And if Winstrike take the 12th, they'll almost certainly take the 13th, which is just an unheard of scoreline at the professional CS level.
Wow, look at that mid-take. Quick shots. Hades only trades back with a 1, but it gets completely dismantled. Winstrike take 3 in retaliation. And this half in its entirety looks over. Jedka Ponchek, last 2 that remains.
Lackey finding that kill while flashed. That's, we all wish we could be this good at Counter-Strike, man. Winstrike putting on a bit of a, shall we say, a clinic at this point. Mirage T side. You're looking for some strats that'll work in your matchmaking games. Nothing too complex, right? Nothing too crazy with the utility usage. You can download this demo and take a look once the series is over. And, well, right now, Winstrike are trying to make that series over very soon.
It should certainly be. There's now an opportunity, though. Both defenders going towards B. Jedka, he smells a rat. Wants to go back CT spawn, defend this A bomb site. Won't hear the footsteps. Audio cue's a little too far. Now needs to radio in for the secondary M4 to actually be the support. He's got a great angle, and they might even line up for him here. Heading into jungle, and he actually just misses it by a whisker. It's the AWP to find instead. Great game sense, Elian. Another elbow found, and Ponchek, 74 HP, even a leg would do this. Bomb in the open. How does he get this one done? There's no smoke to defend. A lovely nade, but that's not enough. It's both players lingering in the connector for all of the frags. 12-2.
12-2. Winstrike on track for a 13th. Remember the money for Wisla. They need to make yet another sort of force buy, half buy, whatever you want to call it here, work. And they've got so little utility to do it with at this point. Okay, maybe Sparrow can put a cheeky decoy down, make it sound like there's even more AWPs than there really are. And they have gotten both snipers back in play, which is clearly something they're comfortable with. But Winstrike are totally comfortable playing against it. Look at the confidence from Elian.
We talked about Elian and Hades, this AWP battle, both very aggressive, and that's exactly why you wouldn't expect him to leap and bound through the smokes. Doesn't find one this time. Doesn't find anything, in fact, other than a tag down to 10. It's Sparrow to find Forrester. This is the end of the half, remember, with the M4s showing up. Wisla might be able to salvage 3. Nothing to pop open the champagne about. Minute 20. AK-47, great angle, and these peaks are totally unwarranted. That's unneeded for Sparrow. Maybe they feel like this map is already over, and flaming even more players out into the open evens up the numbers.
Imagine being Jedker in that situation. You see your hot new prospect burn to a crisp right next to you. Doesn't even move. Not until he wants to pick up some more frags.
Well, this is awkward. Still a 1v2 for Lackey. Seen him do this so many times, but again, it's Hades. 3-12. As I said, nothing to celebrate.
No, we can't be celebrating for Wisla, even though they did end up popping off that last round of the half. They need a pistol, and then they need a whole lot more than that before we can even start talking about a potential comeback. And, well, we're just going to have to wait and see if that's what Wisla want to do, because right now it seems like their heads are not necessarily on Mirage. Maybe some of their players have already loaded up the connection onto Train.
Yeah, that seems to be the case. If I was the Wisla captain, you'd be keeping your forces actually in this game. You'd be trying to rally the troops for this T side here, saying that is actually our better half. That's usually where Wisla can post the majority of their rounds. Not quite 13, though, the majority of the time at least. Winstrike, we know how good they are on CT. That's why they're the favorites in this one. I would say Wisla, dark horses of Premier, but definitely not showing us anything successful. They're second best of 3, much like the first against Tricked. Completely going to sleep.
Yeah, one thing that there is a little bit of a sort of silver lining, perhaps you could call it, it's just looking on the bright side at this point for Wisla, is that obviously it's Goofy's debut. Maybe they haven't played with him too much in terms of getting him prepped and slotted into the system, so to speak. We didn't think it would be that big of a deal right now, and so far it's not like his positions have been called out necessarily. So it certainly isn't that Winstrike are reading him as much as it is perhaps he's not being utilized correctly just yet. But it's such a small sample size. Hopefully it doesn't shake their confidence up too much, and maybe they can deliver a much better result going into Train at the very least. You'd expect so. You play yourself into form a little bit in a lot of these best of 3s, and of course that's why we're not doing best of 1s here at Esea Premier anymore, to give the teams enough time to make a convincing argument, even if there is a lopsided opener, which certainly seems to be the case right now. And with Winstrike floating into that CT side, defending now against Wisla, you got a little bit of an opportunity to play yourself into this round and get yourself to a more respectable score line if you're the Poles. Even if you don't take the W, that momentum carried forth into the next map will give you the confidence that you might be needing at this point when you're down by 9 rounds going into the second half.
P250 Sparrow, only notable factor. Usually see that one on Hades. Instead, he's got the Glock. No armor Sparrow also. He's not been picked up the raid boss, of course. Just going for this pistol on his lonesome. Flash smoke as well. He's going to line them up towards jungle, perhaps. Wanting to get this avenue of approach for the A split. Wisla 2 inside of the underpass. And quick kills Goofy. You want to see him as that entry star. Instead, held at Bay Balaki. Lovely crossfire into the connector. And Winstrike, they might be doing it once again. Wisla have one of their own here on the A-bomb site, but the reinforcements are over. This is what went missing on Wisla's CT side. It's certainly not this time. They've got a double defense. Even with that bomb dropped in the open, Jedka, an angle. a USPS is well in hand. Better at long range, but not against Forrester. He taps you out of the server. Sparrow in the open. He's not got the body armor to rely on. Only the P250 and cannot connect the last.
Man, you definitely would have expected Sparrow to be breaking out that P250 armor hero buy if he was going to take that into the server against somebody like Forrester, who's just going to tap you out of Firebox, tap you out of Connector. Oh, man. Wisla, it looks good initially, right? They finally got an opening kill once again. One of the very few times so far in this game that they've done so. And they do it off of the back of some pretty nice aggression coming out. Maybe catching Winstrike with their pants down a little bit. But Winstrike are capable of adapting. They bought a belt. They're good to go at this point, and they're going to come into round number 17 looking for a bit of a bonus with 2 MP9s and a scout. Of course, 2 M4s as well. So it's still formidable, and with no bomb plant, Wisla, unfortunately, will likely have to concede this one as they've just got Glocks and a single flash on Jedker.
This is when I hear the funeral music playing, Pronogo. 12-3, it's bad enough. Losing the pistol on top of things, going into a full eco into the next, this is certainly going to be 14 and painful with SMGs at the ready. It's that double defense, holding down the line. Ramp isn't even an issue with the flick around. Nickelback takes his back. It's 14-3.
Yeah, you love to see that little 180 or whatever that was. Maybe it was a more of a 90-degree angle, but him to know exactly where that was coming from. Maybe Wisla think, oh, we can get at least 1 frag and maybe hurt the economy. Nope. Spawn around on. Winstrike with the 14th, and they're looking to clean this one up nice and early. We talked about this earlier, Squid. Wisla needed that pistol, and they needed to convert all the rounds, and then they needed even more rounds. And, well, they didn't even complete step 1 of that particular plan, so it looks like they'll be pivoting over to plan B, which is their map pick of Train coming up next. And right now, 3rd round of the second half. Oof, nades are good. Goofy opens up, though.
And a second. Might be going for a highlight reel. 14 HP and a scout to play. Remember, this is a bonus for Winstrike. They don't even need to win it. They've got enough money to carry a full investment into the next. And if you're letting this scout do loads and loads of damage, then the A-bomb site could be a problem finally dealt with. AK-47 in the M4 to try and refute this. And caught from the flank, Forrester falls. 1v3. And Crowd probably won't want to just keep hold of this Fire Serpent. Although that seems to be an option. Ponchek the angle. They both seem aware. Ooh. Barrel spotted. There's the angle. Quick headshot. And the bomb yet to be planted. Goofy low on HP. Maybe an opportunity. But that bomb still near the T spawn. They've not got it down. It's gone completely awry for Wisla. Molotov blocks off Krad's position. Good game sense. They know where he's playing from. And, oh, I thought the swing was about to be taken. Jedka instead. Connect to control. The A-bomb site. Fully formed. C4 can now go down. Remember, Goofy's very low on HP, so if Jedka dies early, this becomes an even Stevens scenario. But how does Krad clear out jungle here? He's got the angle, but doesn't know that Jedka's playing in between. Great angle, great follow-up.
Yeah, Jedker swinging out there is a little bit risky in that scenario, especially with Goofy still positioning himself towards Palace, but he got the call, and maybe somebody might have been lurking out through Connector. That's where the Molotov was thrown after all. Maybe heard some footsteps elephanting through that ramp position. So we get into the next. Winstrike held at bay just a little bit from match point. They need 2 more to close this out here on their map pick. And they will have the op on Elian to do it. The scout on Lackey. Bit of a compromise here with 1 MP9 as well, but that's all right. Winstrike have made more with less.
They certainly have. Mid-control. This looks very similar to what Winstrike employed in the first half. 14-4, though. It's been with limited success. Nades won't connect. There's nobody playing inside the connector. Instead, an aggressive stance towards the ramp for Winstrike.
Wisla need to continue the pressure on. They're not quite doing the same thing that Winstrike did on the aggressive side, on that T side, when they were draining the CT side of all of the utility. Winstrike just a little bit more of a veteran team. They're not going to pull the trigger on all of those nades quite so early. And we talked about their CT side being one of their better sides, especially on this map. And, well, Krad may be changing that narrative by pushing out so aggro. Jedker able to flick onto him. Gives Wisla a hope in this round as well.
This is where the prep really starts to shine for Wisla, the T side, but you can't prepare for that. Double spray away. Scoped rifle, it's the AUG. Remember, Jedka's low on HP as well, so still advantage Winstrike. How do they get in with the double snipers, though? Goofy playing up close and personal, and there comes the no-scope. Elian tries to follow up. Jedka low on HP, easily taken down, and the bomb can't even go away. It's the pistol to follow up, and Winstrike map points galore, 11 of them.
That quick scope from Elian was so impactful coming into the end of that round. I can't believe they gave an AK over as well. It looked so good for the lurk, but Wisla falling there meant that it was so much easier for the 3-on-2 to get converted. When one of your surviving members is a MAC-10 with the bomb and he gets caught out earlier by the SMG on the CT side, that throws your whole take into question. And at the same time, your other member's falling with an AK, handing it on over to a player who previously Lackey only had the scout. So now we've got 2 AKs on the CT side. We've got an AWP, we've got an M4 of both varieties, as a matter of fact, and we've only got pistols and SMGs for the Ts. This utility take needs to be perfect, and Wisla need to get on the site as soon as possible.
This looks incredibly done and dusted. Not a single rifle. There is one on the floor. They can try and retrieve it. With the SMGs rummaging through, Goofy, quick frag. Nade doesn't quite connect. Instead, just blasts the rifle. Not quite into the hands of any of these Wisla players. Low HP for 3. And Jedka, another quick kill. Elian, AWP, worst weapon to have in this scenario. Quick shot, backs off. It's window control. Need to cling on to this one, knowing that the money isn't quite as stable as it was on their T side. He drops. There goes the AWP.
Oh, man. Wisla, they read the Rush B playbook there. That was exactly what they needed to do as well. They needed to overwhelm one of the sites. Just pick any site and go for it. They choose B. They chose correctly in that particular round, and they'll get their 5th on the board. Still so far away from anything close to a comeback, and they would need 10 more in a row just to get us to OT. We're no strangers to OT on Mirage Squid, but I have a feeling that Winstrike are going to deny that. Maybe even with this compromised buy of just a single rifle, who's already cracked off an opening frag. Wisla's worst nightmare may be coming to pass.
Honestly, Pronogo, I thought a Russian team would be more prepared for a B rush.
You would expect that, right? You'd think so, but sometimes it gets the better of them. That's why it's such a good strat. Works at every level.
Stereotypes don't always come true. Usually, not always. 15-5 and a deficit Wisla. They've got to take 10 in a row, and that's only for OT. We know how Winstrike can close these out. Quick frag found. Sparrow gone. Key member eliminated. Mid control. That's a lovely Molotov, though. The smoke gets placed, and there's 2 inside of dark. That AK somehow doesn't connect. And will they be expecting the second player underneath? Jedka certainly seems to think so. Inside the smoke, he lingers. They're practically kissing at the 50-second mark. Hades is right up above, and Wisla have slowed down the pace. Jedka quick shot. There goes the second SMG, and this is where Winstrike could start to fall apart, or misses the pick. 35 seconds, smokes away. Jedka, he wants to plant this. It's Goofy with the bomb. They need this gone right now. Before those smokes dissipate, remember, 25 seconds. And hearing that audio cue, this is where Winstrike can go for the burst. Lackey quick shot, and both of these resultant players low HP. Just Hades, lovely shot to finish. It's Alien to get the job done. 16-5, and that was convincing.
What a dominant first map for our best of 3 here, Squid. We see Winstrike taking their map pick, and it wasn't even close. Wisla Krakow, they're not able to get anything done. Not on the CT side, not on the T side. 5 rounds between both halves, and man, that is not what you wanted to see coming in as the debut for Goofy, as the second best of 3 this Polish squad has played in 2021. Winstrike absolutely made it look easy, and we know they are so ferocious, so fearsome on train. It could be very dire if Wisla are not able to get off to a very, very startling start at the beginning of the second map, which is, of course, coming up very soon.
It absolutely is, and that's hard to do. The one thing that we haven't noted thus far is the knife rounds unlikely to be played. Means that Wisla have to start on the T side of one of Winstrike's best maps. Definitely a dangerous foe, and we've seen exactly why. 16-5 to start us off. We'll go to a very short break, but don't go anywhere because Premier continues.